5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I need my medicine, break it down, roll it up, take a puff, smoke it up till the very end. I need my medicine, methazine for them lean, with the pills for the feel, so it's evidence. I need my medicine.
Sit right there.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late.
Pass me that lighter.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
I couldn't get sober for days, thinking where I went wrong. I damn near went Isaac Hayes, cause that shit was too strong. But I gotta move on. Heard my grandma's voice in my head say be strong. Don't wait too long. God gave you a song.
So I pack my bags up, shine my rags up, and this is for my crew.
It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late.
Trying to get past my fears that I created myself. Trying to get back those years. Have you hating yourself? But hold on. You gotta look back over the past to see if you've grown. Oh Lord, but if you don't, you won't.
Ever get past your fears? They've been keeping you here. We've been on the same shit for
It's
years. Get
never
on some
too
new
late.
shit.
It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late.
Stars won't stop shining until they fall out the sky. It's alright if you cry. It's all for the taking, you gotta get up and try. Every day that you rise, there's a chance for a new life. I had dreams of putting poetry to music, but the streets made me negligent. I was supposed to care for her like a child, but I wound up abusing it. The lust to be a star showed me just how far I strayed from the God of my mother and father. But I holler when I get back. It feels like when I was born, I was hip rap. The doctor knew I had game, I was pimp slap. A lot of y'all just went and got sent back. Facts. Be humble, stop acting all stuck up. The 16 seed got the brackets all fucked up. This ain't down south, but the mill is on the come up. It's our time to reign, so the sun about to come up.
It's never too late. It's never
I
too
can
late.
now feel that.
It's never too late.
Never.
Yo, what it do? Season 3, episode 4.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yep.
Is this episode 4 of season 3?
Yes, sir.
What a great episode this is. We have the senator of Milwaukee County, our gracious county, the county of the white man. I mean,
Fourth Senate District.
excuse me. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I want to be clear, though.
Okay.
My district is predominantly
White.
people of color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
And Milwaukee is too. Black and brown, 70%.
Oh.
40% African Americans. We got to know we the majority. We blaming the white man, but all we got to do is stand up.
Yeah.
Remember that? Have you seen on like when you Google it, it's a picture of some individuals and they're all bent over, and on their back, it's a board and some people playing chess.
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
You
yeah. I've
seen
seen that picture before.
And it say, if you stand up, you change the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
Milwaukee County, though, you was right though on that.
Yeah. Milwaukee County.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Right. Okay. Well, for those who don't know who you are, Senator, please fill them in.
All right. Well, first of all, hey, all out there in Facebook land and radio land, all that good stuff. I'm State Senator Lena Taylor. Who am I? I'm the girl from 15th and Capitol, by way of 29th and North Avenue. My family owned a restaurant on 29th and North Avenue, and I jokingly say I became a lawyer because I didn't know there were child labor laws back in the day, and I needed to sue my family for just working me for penny candy. No. But on the serious end, born and raised on the block that I grew up on, unlike Jennifer Lopez, I'm not from the block. I actually still live on the block, right, that I grew up on.
Okay.
I've been able to see the difference. I'm a lawyer by profession. Became a lawyer right after I left UWM. Well, let me back up. King Generals, King Girl.
Rufus King.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, King Girl's special. You know what I'm saying? So I went to King. I went to UW Milwaukee. I left there and I went to SIU in Carbondale where I went to law school. Came back and I was a public defender. I did that for about 2 years before I opened up my own law practice. Had my own law office on the corner of 35th and State for about a decade before I decided that the laws were like really jacked up and the laws needed to be changed. And so it was Representative Leon Young, former police officer, back as a police officer now, who encouraged me to run for state representative and said it would go well with my law profession. And so I ran for state rep. I did that for about 18 months before I decided to run for senator because Congresswoman now, Gwen Moore, was a state senator and she decided she was going to run for Congress. Yeah. I ran for Senate, won that race, and I've been a senator now. I can't even believe it, since 2005. Yeah, it's almost been 15 years, right? Exactly. That I've been a senator, 2 years as a state rep, 10 years as a lawyer. So, black don't crack. I don't look like what I've been through. So that's a little bit about my history. I'm a mother of a darling son, my only child. Okay. And so I understand the real life that
black
exists
man
in our community. Not
black
only
child
of black people in this community, but definitely of a black man, because I have a 19-year-old soon to be 20. Yeah. And so I understand the challenges, right, that as a mother, that, as a parent, period, but especially as a mom that I have of my son in this city.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
I don't know if you know the story about him being stopped for taking a turkey to a neighbor.
Yeah, I saw that on the news.
Yeah.
A fried turkey to a neighbor, correct?
No, it was frozen.
It was frozen. And
then the police talking about they had to stop him because they had received calls about robberies and burglaries. I said, frozen turkeys.
Stole a turkey.
Dude,
kids about to go do the turkey in.
I'm like, really? And then, so he had it in a brown paper bag because he and I argued about whether or not he should put it in a bag. And I made him put it in the bag in the first place, right? Yeah. So when they saw it was a turkey, you would think that would have been enough. Yeah. But no, sir. They then proceeded to question him. He answered. They proceeded to ask him who his mother was. He said, Lena Taylor. They said, Lena Taylor? He said, yes. And then the officer asked him, what's your number? But the officer had just asked him for his number. So he said, you want my number or my mother's number? And then the officer said, I mean, your mother's number. Gave him my number. And then they locked him in the back of a squad. locked him in the back of a squad, proceeded to, I guess, run his name. I can't even tell you everything that they were doing or whatever. He was whimpering in the back. They was also, you know, talking to him, good cop, bad cop, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. And you could hear, you know, him whimpering and, you know, all that in the back. And it just like yanked my heart out my chest because he was like, Mama, I was looking behind hoping you would come looking for me because I took too long, you know.
Yeah.
And the police department never apologized. The mayor never apologized. And I just want to be clear that that is the unwanted rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
That black men have in this city today. And it's been that way. I've talked to people 80 years old who talked about having the same kind of situation.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so
yeah.
you know, so my reason for running for mayor is because I am the girl from 15th and Capitol. Because I am the girl that live on the block that I grew up on.
Yeah.
Because I am a mama of a 19-year-old who was 15, 16 when that happened. You know, and after that, I saw the change in my son. You know, that was trauma.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That he experienced, and it gave him a different perspective, right, of the police. You know, because, you know, to this day, like, why did they stop me? You know, he said, I saw them when they turned the corner, but I didn't assume they was looking for me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, man. So that's who I am. I'm Isaiah's mama, y'all. And really, you know, a mother to me of all the children, you know, that's in this city, because I believe that they all deserve to be able to live free. They all deserve to be able to have opportunity and access, you know, to good jobs and pathways that will not leave them on a track of hopelessness. You know, that's what too many young people around here.
Well, since you brought that up, I guess one question we
Which
can get
part,
to.
dude?
No, well, I'm just saying
Okay.
where
About
you just
your
left
son.
left off about what you, I mean, where you just ended off your thought at. Someone in the questions wanted us to ask you about prison reform. That was actually one of my questions.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can get into that right now because it seems like it's an institution and a cycle set up in Wisconsin for them to feed on young black men.
There is no question that it is. Matter of fact, I want to back it up even beyond the prison reform. It's directly connected to foster care.
Okay.
It's directly connected to CPS. You know, for those that don't know, Child Protective Services,
Yep.
you know, coming in. And because I want to be clear, because I don't have a refrigerator or because I don't have any food in my refrigerator doesn't mean that my kids don't eat necessarily, right?
Absolutely.
So, but if I'm from a suburban area, right, and I've never seen that or I don't understand that, and I think that that's child neglect, you know, then people get thrown in that cycle. You know, also there's the whole issue of from the trauma, the mental health, right, that happens in our community. I mean, people self-medicate, you know, on a whole bunch of different stuff for a whole bunch of different reasons in our community. And so, but is it better to traumatize the kids and take them from their family, or is it better to try to figure out how to wrap around that family and find out what are the issues that exist so that you can strengthen the family instead of cracking and breaking the family up by dividing them up?
So it's interesting that you say that. I grew up in a household where my mother was a social worker in NPS for like 37 years. She retired. And I remember as a kid, like, she'd come get me from school and be like, we ain't going right home because I got home visits to make. And we used to go to, like, these young black mothers' homes. Now that I'm looking
you looking back at it, you
on
understand.
the kid, like, they had support. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I work in the school system now, and I be seeing parents, and I be thinking, like, dang, if they still had the social worker system like they had in the 80s. In the
So
early
imagine
90s.
the social worker now is normally a young white woman from the suburbs who may not have really even had interaction with black people, or for that matter, you know, let's even say for the parents whose life is like jacked up. It's a difference. It was just on the news the other day. An officer had stopped a woman. She had 5 kids. She was in a car. She had just bought the car or whatever. She didn't have the kids in car seats. He could have gave her tickets for all of that. Instead, he brought her car seats.
Okay.
That's the difference. The approach is different. You can either say, what can I do to strengthen the family? Or what can I do to just be punitive.
Yeah.
And so to go back to the question about criminal justice reform, I just want to back up and say, as a lawyer, I was a criminal defense lawyer. I was then in general practice, meaning I did family law, which for everybody out there is worse than criminal law
it
because
is.
folks will argue over a freaking toothpick. Okay, it's cheaper to keep her. Just hear me when I tell you. It's cheaper to keep her. Because seriously, when folks get mad, they will do anything. So divorce, I did contract law, personal injury. You're a lawyer, you can really, choose your area. But as a legislator and a senator, I chaired the committee, the Judiciary Committee. As a matter of fact, I had the first African American to be the clerk of the Judiciary Committee. What is the clerk? It's the person who helps the senator, right, run the committee. The only black person who has ever been a clerk of a committee like that was Michelle Bryant, who also is on 860 Radio.
Exactly.
And then in addition to that, I was the first African American to chair the committee. And I also chaired it during the time that we did something called Justice Reinvestment. And so it's when we had people come in, tell us, hey, if y'all don't change what y'all doing, y'all gonna have 26,000 people in y'all prison in 10 years. Guess what? It's 10 years later. And we did some of the things that they told us after that analysis, but then the Republicans took over in 2012 and they undid some stuff. Now we back on the trajectory of our prison population going up. We're up to like 23, almost 24,000 people that are incarcerated. So when someone asks about criminal justice reform, it's the one reason I ran for office, to be honest. I was a lawyer, and I was like, these laws need to change. And in my naivety, I thought I was going to be able to go to Madison and just change some stuff, just start making some stuff up. Shoot, I got up there and found out, it's 99 people in the assembly, 33 people in the Senate, and it's a governor, and you got to get it out of each of the houses and get that person to agree with you. That's not that easy, but I still have done a lot.
Okay.
When you look at criminal justice reform in Wisconsin, the things that have been done, I've done a lot of that. Lincoln Hills, one of the reasons that we did the bill to close, I helped author the bill to close Lincoln Hills was because of me. Mental health reforms that have happened. Right now, we have an expungement law that is in place, but it's still outdated. But let's be clear, the change that I made to it is before you couldn't get an expungement unless you was under 21. Now it's 24. It ain't, and I got some felonies and some things put in there that weren't in there before. So it's a small change, but we still need to change it because you got to get it at the time you sentenced or you can't get an expungement. Right. And then I'll end with this. We lead in the nation in mass incarceration of black men and Native American men. So for me, I like to see our criminal justice system, our community correction system change, because the number one driver into our prison system in the state of Wisconsin, 60+% of people who are presently in our prison are people who got revoked.
Revoked
and
on
of
probation.
the people who got revoked, about 40% of those people didn't have a new case. So that alone is something that we can do different. And I'm proud to say 2 days ago, I was sitting at a table just like I'm sitting with y'all, with the present governor, Governor Evers, a former governor, Governor Thompson, Senator Alberta Darling, who is the chair of the Money Committee, the Joint Finance Committee, and 2 other state representatives. And that's what we were talking about. We were talking about criminal justice reform and what can we do. And it's funny because Governor Thompson was saying, I'm a recovering sinner, because I helped create truth in sentencing, and I want to see that change because it's out of control. So it's kind of weird, right? To
absolutely.
be in that situation, but good, right? In the same breath. So I can't promise what we're going to get done, but I can tell you that criminal justice reform, that's where my heart is.
Well, we speak pretty frankly here on this
Yeah, me
podcast
too.
that we do. This ain't like
So
radio.
do it.
You know what I mean? This ain't like radio. This ain't like FCC. We can get in trouble for anything that we say on
Keep
here.
it real. You ain't got to apologize.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. All that I hear you saying at the end of the day is financially. So we got to figure out a way to.
No. It's more than that. Because
But I think the bottom line with them is money. If they weren't
I
making,
agree.
if they weren't making
Oh, yeah,
all the
definitely.
money
Yeah,
that
for
they're
sure.
making off the prison system, it wouldn't be as
my
important to
son
them.
got a sweatshirt.
as it is.
It says crime pays. Probation agent, judges,
Everybody
police.
makes money.
Everybody
Exactly.
make money but us. We are,
Exactly.
I say it like this. I say we a commodity.
Exactly.
Okay? A commodity in foster care. Because when you with your mama, I wouldn't help. But when I take you from your mama, I'm going to help that person.
Right.
I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give money for additional services for you. So part of it, I also will back up to something I said earlier about the community that we're in. It's our fault too, because part of what I'm gonna say is back in the day, if I was young and I got pregnant, my baby went down south.
Yeah.
Family wrapped around us.
Yeah.
Okay. So nowadays, family ain't the same.
Right.
Right. You could get a loaf of bread or a cup of sugar from your neighbor. Nowadays,
Yeah,
you
now
can't
you can't go to
necessarily do
nobody
that.
else's house.
Right,
Hey,
exactly.
don't be popping up over
right.
here.
Don't be coming over
Yeah,
here.
don't be
Don't
popping
come
up over
unannounced.
here.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Matter of fact, they ain't gonna even say that.
Say
They
that.
just ain't coming to the door.
Facts.
Okay.
Well, I not to cut you off. I have a couple questions for you. Since you're running for mayor, now. Oh, actually, this is his question, so I'm gonna let him ask this because we was just talking about this the other day, so he can ask you the question.
About Barrett?
Yes.
Okay, that's been my
Yes,
running
'cause
theme
this-
on here for
this
about a
is-
month.
Tell me the
I
thing.
woke up one day and he was like on TV talking. I don't even know what he was talking about. He might have been
doing this?
He might have been doing something positive, or I don't know what was going on. But I just woke up one day and was like, what is, like, how long has this dude been mayor? You know what I'm saying? And
15 years.
And on this platform, like, I always paid attention to the news because of how I grew up. But since we've been doing this show for the last 2 years, we got to stay on top of the news. We got to
Right.
watch the news. We got to be on top of topics because the people who watch this, they want to discuss what's going on in their community, what
Right.
affects them directly. Not so much Nicki Minaj and
Right.
other things. We throw
Right.
that in as fluff.
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
basis of this show is to speak about what affects us.
What's real?
Me and him are head of households. We pay rent. We, you know what I mean?
Right.
We vote. We do all of that. So we got to speak on these things as much as we smoke and joke. We got to do this too. So
Right.
my thing with it all is like, how long has he been in office?
15 years.
15 years. That's
He's
a
been in
long
15
time.
years. It is a long time. And something that you asked me earlier, which was about like what's the difference? How do what do I see in Milwaukee,
yeah,
so to say, or
as-
something
as-
like that you had said. And so I want to go to
He ain't
say
talking about you.
in the 15 years, one of the things I'm going to say
Characterize the
is we've
city's
lost,
quality of life.
yes,
The quality of life
has
and-
gone down.
Yes.
The home ownership
Mm-hmm.
has gone down. Access to jobs is gone down. I mean, I'm the daughter of some individuals that's in their 70s, okay? My father only finished high school. He ain't getting old. You know what I'm saying? He went and worked at A.L. Smith. They could leave one job and get another job. That don't exist. People working 2-3 jobs because you can't make a living wage. That's different. And I'm not blaming Barrett for all of that. But part of what I'm saying is there are some things like black businesses, black banks. Those are things, black and brown people, we rock bottom for startups and small businesses in the nation. So those are some things that the mayor could have done different. He could have helped save legacy by making sure some investments was done or using his clout to bring businesses in the city to be able to help. And then the last thing I'll say is this. Okay, when Jim Doyle was the governor, he was the last Democratic governor that we had before Evers. When he was the governor, we had 6,000 people come home from prison. So if you got 6,000 people that come home from prison, and on average, you normally have 3,000 people that come home from prison, I'm just asking, does that seem like it's something that needs to have an attention?
Yeah.
It's a constant.
It's a constant.
It is not something that the mayor has wrapped his, head around. And God knows, in the 15 years he's been there, at least 7 of them, I've talked to him about urban agriculture and the role that I think it could play. He doesn't agree with me on cannabis, hemp, nor cannabis marijuana.
So he's against both. Barrett is. That's his stance. on it?
This what he told me. When Trump made cannabis hemp legal across the nation, he told me, I said, we need to do processing plants. We need to build this industry, claim this industry, because we got what others don't have. We have water. Okay? And Wisconsin used to lead in hemp. I don't know if y'all know that. You can use hemp. Anyway, I went down a whole rabbit hole talking about cannabis, hemp, and marijuana. But the short version was he said to me, show me the jobs. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, that was the day that I said, you know what? If I got to show you the jobs, oh, yeah, I need your job.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done.
Yeah,
That's how it started.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What I didn't understand is why would they like? Well, I mean, not why, because I don't. I understand it.
Why,
I understand it because I mean, like, we always debate this, but in the amendments we are considered whole man, right? So why would they not consider the marijuana being legalized here when they know that it'd be a bigger profit than incarcerating black men?
So I'm going to go back to that thing I just said about we have two houses, the Assembly and the Senate, 99 people in the Assembly, 33 people in the Senate. The people that presently control those two houses are Republicans.
Oh, yes, we know
okay?
that.
So those individuals, even though there are some Republicans in each house that agree with us, the people that are in leadership in each house do not agree with legalization. Okay. The one in the Assembly would be willing to do medical marijuana, but the one in the Senate is not. But he's about to run for Congress. So, you know what I'm saying? Things may change. But this is my position. Okay, if I know I can't get you to do marijuana, cannabis legal, but I got cannabis hemp and it is legal, my position is, let's just work on this over here, because honestly, it's a bigger financial industry, $1 billion industry. You can make more money in hemp than you can
will off the prison
system. In cannabis marijuana, believe it or not, because
it's the medical.
It can be used beyond medical. You can use it to make concrete that's 20 times stronger than steel. You can use hemp to make wood. You can use hemp to I said concrete. You can use it like medical marijuana. You can use it for arthritis, for what you call it when you get swelling. I can't think of all the stuff now. But the point is,
I like saying that gout. Just about that gout.
The point is you can use hemp for quite a few different things.
See, my thing is why I keep saying this financial is because, like in Illinois, starting January 1st, they got to reverse probably like 8,000 non-violent drug cases, marijuana.
70,000 people are going to be released or whatever, because when they did
70,000,
it's like 70,000 individuals that will, and I shouldn't say just released, like affected by the system with expungement or something in that way. And so, but the difference is they had a legislature that did a law. And when they did that law, their county attorney, Kim Fox, was a part of that process. And that part right there to say people who were incarcerated from cannabis, marijuana should be able to benefit from this process. In some states like California, they even have an apprenticeship program. And that's the way I would do it, because I want to be clear. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want people to be able to do an expungement. I, want people to be able to be free, from prison and all that. But let me tell you something. Ain't nothing gonna change if we do not have economic wealth. Period. So for me, urban agriculture is not only a way to feed people, it's also a way to train people. It's also a way to help with entrepreneurship. And it's a pathway to, whether it is cannabis hemp or cannabis marijuana, to an industry that we right now have the ability to be in on the ground on. And what I want us not to do is sleep on that. Like
opportunity.
Exactly. Because
you see Chicago, Michigan,
exactly.
New York.
And the thing I want to say to people, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I know people want the psychotropic effect, right, of cannabis marijuana. But my position is, if you can make money legally using a cannabis plant, why would you want to give them the power? Why would you not want to do what you need to.
Yeah.
Shucks, do what you need to
Right.
in Hempton. Go to Colorado and do some other stuff and, help elect some people in Wisconsin so we can get it done. All I'm trying to say is we need to take advantage of the opportunities that are there, right? And I'm going to fight for those opportunities. And I'll tell you one thing that I do different than Tom Barrett. Okay. So I can't make the Republicans make it legal. Mm-hmm. But I can determine how our police department handles it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I can determine how we proceed in that way. The police department, they make up a whole bunch of money.
That makes sense.
In the city budget.
Yes.
And so if we can change how we handle some of those issues, then we can put that money maybe in some prevention stuff. We can, put that money in a different way.
Right. Like, if you're not going to legalize it, at least decriminalize it to the point where it's not sending people to jail. Still make a tax off of it. Make tickets. If they don't pay the tickets, press out warrants. If they ain't pay the warrant, then maybe time in jail.
Well, I'm just saying. I just want to be clear where I'm at, because I still don't want us to be like Ferguson either. I don't want us to be a debtor's prison. Right. I don't want people to be in poverty and then circling right back into the system because they can't pay some, ain't got a job, and unemployment and blah, blah, blah. Very candidly, where I'm at on that is that there should be a certain amount that does not even put you into the criminal justice system. And whatever it is, it's going to have to be at least an ounce. It's how I feel. And it's one of the things that they even talked about that they do in Madison. So if it can be done in Wisconsin, then why can't it be done in the first class city in Wisconsin?
Right. Now, I got 2 comments out the question. It's a young man that is a follower of this show. He promotes on this show. He's just got the zoning codes from his alderman in his district and all that to build a rec center for teens.
Okay.
So he built it, and now he called me the other day. He's struggling with DOC. Are you familiar with that?
Department of Corrections.
Okay, they're giving him a problem with licensing, I believe, is the issue that Get It Boy is having with opening his facility.
Because of his prior record?
Because of his prior record, I believe.
Because he's a felon with probably a drug case, and they feel some type of way about drug convictions.
Yeah.
So a few things. The first thing I'll say, my Senate number is 342-7176. When you're dealing with a state agency, call your state legislator.
See, that's why it's important for you to be on here, because I'm telling you, people in the 53206, 09, 08, they don't know that.
But
what you saying? No, we don't know that. Nobody really educates us on that. You can fight who can fight for you.
You know what?
You get what I'm saying?
Well, this the beginning.
Okay.
Call Lena Taylor, right? And I'm not going to tell you that I can solve every problem, but I can tell you that I'm here to serve, right? I can tell you that when you don't know, we can try to help find out. So the first thing I want to do is encourage you to call your legislator. Whether I'm your legislator or not, you can call my office, 342-7176. Second thing, I'm a little confused because normally DOC doesn't do licensing. So if the person is trying to work with youth who are justice system touched, and they also have been touched in the justice system, that is a policy that ironically 2 days ago, I just talked about we still need to address. And I've been trying to address it with every secretary of the Department of Correction that has existed since I've been here, and I think I'm up to 5 or 6 of them now. And that is the fraternization policy. So let me explain what that means. If you in prison and I come and help and work with you, when you get out of prison, I can't work with you. And if I do, I can't go back into prison and work with somebody else. Second, yes, it really is not a smart policy. The second thing is what you said, which is the rules that say felons can't fraternize. So I don't agree with that, because to me, I believe that somebody that's been in the hole is the best person to teach you how to get out of the hole.
Absolutely.
And not how to get and to avoid getting in the hole. Absolutely. In the first place. So I've been an advocate of people who have been touched by the system being mentors to be able to help people. As mayor, I would create a division that is helping individuals that are running. I mean, not running, but hopefully trying to run from doing what some people might want to encourage them to do, but people who are coming back is what I was trying to say, into the community, because I believe people need a hand. And don't get me wrong now, I can be a hard cookie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I believe people got to, pay their way. whether it is financial or whether it's with sweat
Put in the
equity.
work.
But you got to put in the work.
You got to put in the
right?
work.
A man don't work, he don't eat.
Yeah.
Okay? So
around
I
the world.
believe we need to help people with housing. We need to help people with a skill, with a high school diploma. We need to help people with a job. And I really want to help everybody. Yep, I do. With a garnishment.
You supposed to.
Okay?
That's-
Because I want that garnishment to help if they got kids. And I don't want to garnish people at a level that you still can't live. But you got to know that you got to pay your way, whether it's for your children or whether it's for what we have sold into you because you was fucking up, messing up.
Right.
Well, the young man who was having that issue, he said he gonna call you in the morning.
Yeah, do that. And when you call, know this. I have people that work in my office, and what we do every day is this. So when you call, explain your situation, have your documents. You can even go to Coffee Make You Black. And I got an office upstairs in Coffee Make You Black. So you can call, but you can go to Coffee Make You Black.
Okay.
Too.
Okay. So what would you do different than Tom Barrett for the crime that's plaguing the city? Like
A whole bunch of stuff. First thing, I would create a department, like I said, to be able to help individuals and to create that mentoring concept. You know, this may be a little unorthodox to some people, but it's people, in the street, people call them, OGs, right? It's people, who have been there that I believe can be wisdom and guidance for not just me as a leader, but for the police department and for people who are thinking about making some of those choices. I think that that's an important piece to exist. There's something else that I would really do. I'm going to connect people who are who have been touched by the system to skills, right? So that those individuals can be connected to work. Urban agriculture is huge for me. I know a lot of people don't understand why I'm on it, but it's because trauma is real.
Well, I mean,
and
they
trauma-informed care helps.
They doing agriculture in prison, so why not when you come out here have some reason to be using that trade that they gave you in there?
Exactly. It's a brother came out. He made cookies. He sell his cookies for $1 He was in the business journal.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that's culinary.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So that's something, right, that is really, really important to me. But the other thing that I really would do that is different than Tom Barrett is I would listen to the people and I would concentrate on the neighborhoods and not just downtown. We are not downtown Milwaukee.
No.
I hate that commercial. We are more than downtown Milwaukee.
Man, we the
We
hood
are the
Milwaukee. We
neighborhood.
are the dirt
I want to put the neighbor
in front of
back
the
in
grass.
the hood. I know. I want to put the neighbor back in the hood. And even though you're right that we got houses and situations where people ain't got no grass, let me tell you something that I think is really important. You know what? When you don't feel good and you put on something that make you look good, you feel a little better.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
When you clean it up, you feel better. When you clean up your house, you feel better.
Exactly. And so I want us to be able to do that. I want people to be able to do that kind of work in front of their neighborhoods so that we literally have a love for where we are. Right. And, unlike Tom Barrett, I believe that we should have an administration that reflects how the city is made up.
Yeah, I
70% of the people are people of color, but his administration does not look like that.
My thing
Facts,
is I don't
Rick.
really have a problem on what your nationality is. You get what I'm saying? It's just that if you're not speaking to no issues that direct me and mine directly, I don't have no interest in what you're doing as a politician. That's just the rules and how I'm abiding.
Real talk.
As I've grown and learned politics. My stance is if you're not speaking nothing that concerns my people, then I don't even have an interest in what your agenda is, period. Get what I'm saying? If I'm not a part of your agenda at all, like I'm cool in anything you speaking of. And that's what I'm saying. You could be Indian, Russian, I don't care what you are. If you're not speaking nothing to help my people and you're working in a facet that affects my people or in an area that affects my people.
As a lawyer, I often say, Clarence Thomas ain't no Thurgood Marshall.
Exactly.
Right? So, it's just, basically saying just because somebody look like you, don't mean that
And
y'all
it could
on
be
the
the
same
burnt out
page.
system with Barrett. At one point in time, 15 years is a long time. So 8 years ago, he might have felt raging bull and rioty and ready. And he probably, now we 15 years into it, it's time for some change. Like, that's kind of my thing with the state of Wisconsin and just how they operate, period. And I feel like going further in the future, I'm loving to see more young black politicians. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is that
Kaylin Haywood.
yeah, exactly. Mandela Barnes. You know what I mean? Like Khalif and Russell and everything that's going on down there. You may feel how you feel about these people or whatever, but I'm just saying I just like to see my color being represented, and I'm a part of. Yeah, I feel like if you're like 45 years and under, or maybe 50 years and under, you're a part of the hip hop culture. But it's no longer the culture that my grandmother was brought up in.
But let me say this to you, and you know, because I gotta say this, and you know, Al, my campaign manager, probably gonna come and snatch my mic or something, y'all. But let me say this because it's very, you know, serious for me. You know, if you have a seat at the table, it's important that you use that seat and your voice to help the very people that sent you.
Absolutely.
I need you to know that everybody don't do that.
No, we understand that.
No, everybody don't do that.
Color ain't your people.
People, no, they not.
Everybody,
they not. I was just saying, me being somebody that
no,
comes
I
from,
get it. It makes us feel.
I've never been
is the first actually black person to be elected statewide where people knew they were black.
Exactly.
Because when Vel Phillips ran, she ran, but she didn't put her picture
they didn't know
on the literature. They didn't know she was a woman, and they didn't know she was black.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when she won, it was kind of, you know, on the slide. And when they found out, they was like, oh, not no more. And then the guy that's in there now as the Secretary of State, Doug LaFollette, he did some racist stuff and sexist stuff and ran against, you know, Vel Phillips, and she lost. You know, but you can't get it twisted. I'm black. You see me on here. You see I'm a girl. You see I'm Lena Taylor. You see all of that. I'm the first woman to run for mayor in the city of Milwaukee. When I get elected, I will be the second black mayor, but only the first one to be elected.
Okay, the other one got put in.
He got appointed, which was Marvin Pratt. And Marvin lost because Barrett promised him that he wasn't going to run, and then he ran after he lost the gubernatorial race. So I get seeing young people and so on and so forth, but, you know, we have to also be involved and engaged so that when somebody wins, just having somebody there is one thing, but we got to hold them accountable.
No, you got to hold them accountable for their agenda. I wasn't saying that everybody was okay. I was just saying someone like me who never really paid attention to politics, I'm drawn in now because people of my culture that grew up like me, no, we might not have the same outlook on things, but they come from the same place that I come from, are now getting in offices and in position and running for mayor like yourself. Like, as I met you in a different space 10 years ago. Now, 10 years from now, 10 years ago, I would have never thought we'd be sitting here on my platform having this conversation about you running for mayor. So that's what I'm saying about a culture change with hip hop being American culture now.
Yeah.
See, like what I was getting to is that Wisconsin can't run from that. Like, they're constantly trying to run away from that, and it's going to be so long that you can't continue to run from that because it's ingratiated in American culture. You can't run from it.
As a matter of fact, that is part of what I think is also different between me and Tom Beer. I want to embrace our diversity that we have. I believe it's strengthen that. You know, can I get each of you to give me one of your hands, touch my hand with one of your hands, touch my hand with one of your hands. We each went from being in silos to each being a spoke in the wheel. I believe that we each bring something to the table. That's what I want to bring to the city. I want to be able to give everybody an opportunity to be all hands on deck, right? I don't have all the answers, but I know together we're better. And so what I want to be able to do is have a city that encourages that. You asked what else I want to do. I want to be able to create a city that gives us, like, I call it like Let's Make a Deal, but in High Point, North Carolina, they had another name for it. And what it basically does is it says, look, we done did all the intelligence. We can send you through this door and you can go into the system. Or we can send you through that door and you can change your life.
Okay.
And I believe that people will want to go through that door. Now, everybody ain't. But I believe that with the right supports, people will go through that door. That kind of program is a program I learned when I went to the Harvard School of Government. I learned about that program from my seatmate that was a sheriff. Okay. And 70% violence reduction. I also believe in these things that are called community-orientated policing houses. Those are not houses that cops live in, but places that are hubs where people can go.
She got Chucks
help.
on, Doc B.
I sure do.
Doc B
I
said
got my blue
Aslina,
Chucks
she got-
on
she
today,
got Chucks
Doc.
on. That's her trademark.
That's it, Chuck
Cut you
Taylor.
off. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I would want to implement those kind of, policies and procedures. I believe that our police should do more de-escalation. Policing is just not about punishment or belittling or that kind of thing.
Man, they used to give out baseball cards. Man.
Exactly, and it matters.
I didn't become afraid of the police until like somebody got shot when we was teenagers, and then it like gave me PTSD. But all growing up, like they used to be at our baseball games. They used to pull up in the hood, give us baseball cards. They used to come to Warning. Like when I played basketball at Warning, the relationship was totally different than it is today.
Exactly.
Community-wise, absolutely.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you, for me, de-escalation is huge, and that community police is huge. I want to see more of that with the police department. They have a hard job. It's like being in the service. They're on the front lines, right, of what's going on. But it doesn't mean that you can't be wrong. It doesn't mean that you can't, be corrected.
I definitely got to ask you that since we on this. What about 48% of our budget going to police service?
Dude, $30 million went to settlements. That's insane.
Yeah, so like what?
That's insane.
Like
How
they
does
what
a
they gonna have to
police
pay
officer-
Sterling?
how
The
does-
Sterling Brown.
No, that's a whole mess right there. Did you see when the officer like stepped on his ankle, right?
Yeah.
So like that same officer that stepped on his ankle is the same officer that left the baby in the back of the car that went to the tow lot.
Oh Lord.
That same
That's
officer.
him?
That same officer had excessive force complaints. So if we had accountability, if we had
He wouldn't even been at work.
he wouldn't have even been able to be there to step on Sterling's ankle.
He'd have been sitting at home.
And I'm one of the few people that made a comment about why is it that Sterling's video took like 6 months to be released. 6 months. Y'all doing all of that 6 months. Okay? So that same corruption, and that's what I call it. My team get on me about using the word corruption. They don't like it. But when you know something is jacked up, messed up, and you don't do nothing about it, I feel like that's corruption. Okay? Yeah. And whatever somebody else define it as. But that corruption that does not hold people accountable, and you know that you are putting young men and women in those kinds of situations over and over again. And you said it. You said, I had PTSD. I saw that in my baby, in my child.
Yeah,
and it literally made him hang with people differently. Not to mention, I think back now, when we moved in our house, didn't nobody tell me about lead in the water? Didn't nobody tell me about lead laterals? But I learned now that they was telling people, the realtors and folks was telling people in Wauwatosa and other areas in the county about lead laterals. But they didn't tell me about that. So now when I think back, when my baby had high lead elevations, I didn't know why. We had moved in a house that nobody had been in for a period of time, and he was a freaking infant.
Yikes.
When I was in that house, I was pregnant in that house. So he was drinking freaking lead water. I had lead milk in my breast, all that, So,
wow.
And to know that we knew about cryptosporidium, you cannot tell me that when the EPA came, that we were not told about lead. Because Madison was told about lead, and Madison proceeded to fixing their lead laterals. We didn't. We just put this phosphorus stuff in the water to create a lining inside.
To try to contain.
Exactly. And the other piece is, even when kids had elevated lead, going back to my own situation, when they came to do the environmental check, they didn't check the soil. They didn't check the water. They just talked about the windows. That's all they talked about. And so I'm just saying, one, we need to be informed. And the other thing I'll say to that, people don't know, I'm just going to say it like this. We free.
Yeah, we are.
Ain't nobody coming. If we waiting on somebody to come and tell us, Ain't nobody coming. Paul Revere is not coming.
Yeah. Harriet Tubman ain't coming. Yeah.
Look, I'm the closest you finna get to Harriet. And I want to, Harriet said I freed 1,000 slaves and enslaved people. I would have freed 1,000 more if only they knew that they were slaves.
Yeah.
Hey, we the majority. We determine who leads this city. You ain't gonna have to spend time explaining to me about PTSD and trauma and what it means to grow up, you know what I'm saying, without how drug addiction is. I'm the girl that came from 15th and Capitol by way of 29th and North Avenue. When I got out of law school, I used my law degree to take my brother from my mama because she was on drugs when I got out. That was the hardest thing I had to do. But I had to make sure that he had an opportunity.
Yeah, the preservation of the child.
Exactly. And now my mama, she's sober, she clean. It gave her that bridge over troubled water, right? To be able to have that support. That's what people need. That's, in my Milwaukee, that's what we gonna have. I mean, that is if people make history in February of 2020 and come out for vote for me on February 18th of 2020. I need y'all. I can't do it alone. I can stand up. But I can't do it. Well, I can't do it unless the people say so.
Well, like I said, that's definitely why we had you come through today because, I don't want to speak for everybody that's a part of this because I'm not the head of Smokin Gossip, but I'm a part of it.
I got you, though.
Oh, yeah, you got me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, well, then dang, I got you.
You got my vote.
Right,
and from reading
that's what I'm talking about.
I know you ain't.
I got 4 votes in the room.
I know you ain't been reading the comments or whatever because you can't see your phone.
I can't see them. I've been trying, but y'all know I need my glasses on.
That's what people been saying in the comments pretty much. Is that
thank y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Even somebody that live in California that's from Milwaukee, he said he want to mail in his vote because he still use his Milwaukee address.
Look, if you in California but you still a resident of Milwaukee, you can early vote. You can call 286-CITY.
Talk to
ask for the election commission. Tell them that you need a ballot because you're not going to be here on February 18th and you want to be able to vote. If this is still legally where you have your license and where your residence is. For those of you who are out there, look, he got $1 million. Okay, 800,000. It feel like $1 million, okay? I had 2,000. All I got is the people, God, and people and God until the money come in. So I need y'all to come and volunteer. My office number is 943-0756.
Type it in.
943-0756. Our office is on 60th Street. Here you go. This is my card.
The brothers on the other side of the wall, they done chimed in. They said you got their vote too.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm up to like, how many brothers was in there? About 10 was in there. Yeah. I'm up to 15. That's what I'm talking about. One vote at a time, y'all. That's what it's going to take. I want us to blow the freaking minds of people who think we won't show up. Right. I want to blow the minds. I want us to make history in 2020. This ain't about me. This is about us.
Well, I don't know how you personally feel about these people or whatever, but I remember us being in this kind of space when Evers was running. And I remember me and him debating about like, oh, Walker got it. Because, in our mind, used to them getting away with everything that they want to do. Right. We just assumed he was going to win. We hadn't did no research, no homework on it. We just blew it off like, oh, he going to win. So the night that he won, I remember we came on the air the next day and was
like, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't even, and that was weird.
But let me tell you, not only that, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead. I was done.
We did it.
Yeah, that's my point. So that's
Black
what I hear
and
you
brown
saying.
people in Milwaukee that went to early vote at Midtown.
We did it.
Those are the 30,000 votes that took him over the top.
That's what we was on the air tripping about, that we actually got to see our impact. Like,
exactly.
Oh, damn. Like,
so all I'm asking is,
it worked. Like, whoa.
Everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody. Period.
I mean,
I need us to come and
like
vote.
Like she said, we 70%. You know what I mean?
People of color.
People of color.
40%
of that is black, man. Like I tell y'all all the time, we top 5 in the nation.
Yes.
And being Negro, fam. Like LA, places like that ain't nowhere near in the numbers of black people, but black people got power.
And that black people have elected mayors.
Yeah, exactly. And we have never elected one. We had one that got into office by a situation. Shout out Marvin Pratty from my hood. You know what I'm saying? But You know
That's
what
why
I
I
mean?
ran for office, because of the way Marvin served. I was
Absolutely.
like, I want to be like him.
Absolutely.
When I was young. I mean, for
Absolutely.
real. So, and he's supportive.
So I think it's time that
me.
we have somebody that look like us. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
right.
As mayor of Milwaukee, that only makes sense to me.
Tailor
You know what
made
I mean?
for the
And why
people,
not
by the
you?
people. That's what I like to say.
I like to hear that. I like
Lena
that.
Taylor for mayor.
Right, Lena Taylor for mayor. So if elected mayor,
Excuse me? I don't understand
when
that
when
word.
you are,
mayor.
yeah.
Thank you.
When elected
Because we speak
mayor,
things into existence on
That's
this
what I'm talking
podcast
about.
right
I'm
here.
like, wait a minute.
when elected mayor,
Yes.
if given a $2 million budget,
Well, we're going to have more than $2 million, but I got you. With $2 million, what would I do?
what would you do with it and why?
So right now, the first thing that I would do is I have this program that I've talked about. I call it Love and Faith. It actually goes right back to when I put our hands together. It helps to bring collaboration together. It helps to, when I talked about wrapping services around families, it helps us to be able to, instead of people having to go to 16 different places to figure out what to do, they can go to a hub. So remember when, Red Cross said they wasn't gonna go in some neighborhoods. Remember them 10 neighborhoods that they was talking about they didn't want to go in? I'd love to see us take those neighborhoods, map those areas to determine what are the issues that exist, and then have the hubs as places that individuals can go to help to get those things. I want to have literacy in the hub. What do I mean by literacy? First of all, being able to read.
Absolutely.
85%
Can't.
of our children cannot read on grade level.
No. I work in the school system. That's a
85%.
fact. It's a fact.
So that right there, we should be lining up like people lined up for them chicken sandwiches at Popeyes, okay? To talk about it's unacceptable that our children cannot read, because see, up to third grade you learn to read. After third grade you read to learn. So we jacked up already if we can't read. I don't like the little joke people be saying, if you don't want black people to know, put it in a book.
Yeah.
We need to make that,
reverse that, like we
Okay.
did the word nigga. We need to
Exactly.
reverse it like we did the word nigga.
take it and do
Yeah,
something
and do
different,
something
with,
different
it.
with it.
And so
I dare you to put it in a book. You get what I'm
Exactly,
saying? You better
exactly.
not
I'm
put
with
that
you.
shit in no
I'm
book.
with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And literacy of more than just being able to read. We need literacy of money. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
financial
sorry.
literacy
We
in
got to
schools.
begin to say, why we spending $100, $200 on some tennis shoes, but we ain't got nowhere to live. Right. You know, we getting evicted. Or we got to have somebody's name on our butt that ain't doing, nothing for us. We got to somehow or another flip that script. We need literacy of relationships.
Facts.
If you grew up and your mama or your daddy or whoever else was in the house and they was fighting and that's what you saw, you need to know that ain't normal.
Right.
That ain't normal. Your normal ain't normal. And we got to help you to know what's different so you're not traumatizing your children, right?
I
So
believe-
literacy is something I want in those hubs.
That's breaking generational curses
Exactly,
too. Yeah.
exactly. The other thing is opportunity. I want people to have opportunity for services because mental health is real. I want people to have opportunity for pathways to work. I want people to have that opportunity for even entrepreneurship. I want people to learn how to have a voice. You just said people need to know who they elected is and what to do or whatever. We need everything from civics to advocacy because ain't nobody coming. They finna do a slaughterhouse on 35th and Capitol
35th Capitol?
at the old A.O. Smith Century
yeah,
City.
Yep.
Okay?
Building that. Yep.
Okay? Not at that building, but on that land
Oh, okay.
that potentially will do 500 cows a day. First of all, ladies, gentlemen, you've been around a woman when she been on her menstrual cycle.
That smell.
So 500 cows.
Yeah, I know. That smell
Okay.
is gonna be crazy.
And
right there on Capitol.
wait, not just menstrual cycle. So take menstrual cycle and the baby boo-boo diaper, okay? And guts and just all that every day, all the time.
That's been approved?
Let me tell you, somebody from my district in Shorewood called my office and said, do y'all know that that's going to be a slaughterhouse? Said we didn't know. So being the woman that I am, I made sure it got on the radio. I started telling everybody I use this. V. That's the voice that I want us to be able to have to learn that we have to speak up and encourage people to go down to City Hall yesterday. Praise God. They sent it back to committee. But it ain't over.
It ain't over yet.
And I'm not saying that somebody, I mean, you know, look, how many hamburgers have we eaten in this room? Who like porterhouse steaks? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that people don't eat beef. You know, I really don't.
I don't.
Okay? But people do. So I'm not saying that somebody don't have to slaughter some cows and somebody don't have to do the job and it's not a good job and blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying I don't know if 35th and Capitol is the best place. And even if it is the best place, I believe people have the right to know and be engaged. The corruption that exists in the administration where they believe that they don't have to include the people, where they take the community out of whatever they do. That is the part I don't like.
I know black men that try to open a strip joint on that same block. Right across the street. At an old bar, they tried to open a strip joint, and they got denied after they was told that it was going to be a go-through, and they invested all this money into it. And then they got denied. You know, their whole little operation got shut down. Now, that would have employed a good, let's say a good 30 black people. Just honestly, 30 black people guaranteed working every night. They would rather have 500 white men working.
Yeah, at a slaughterhouse.
You know what I mean?
So check this out. They said it was going to be 500 jobs. 250 one year, 250 the next year. But 200 of them are the people that's already working at the plant that'll be brought over.
Exactly.
So really you talking about 50 jobs and then maybe 250 the following year depending on how the business is. So yeah, all I'm saying is the voice. People need to learn everything from civics to advocacy. You need to be engaged and talk about it. And don't get me wrong. I know we all busy. But if we don't make time.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier about Wisconsin is so far behind. Like you just said,
we always been behind.
But I'm just
even
saying,
with
with what I'm saying is with science and technology advancing and we in 2019, how much longer can they really get away with that? This is
as long as we let them.
That's what I'm saying.
Because who is the majority? We are.
So that's what I'm saying.
Who can vote and determine what happens?
This is an urban place, but they run it like Wyoming. You get what I'm saying? You can't run urban places like Wyoming or South Dakota. You can't the numbers won't allow you to do it.
Then somebody gonna need to stand up and change the game. To go back to when I talked about, y'all go and Google, it's a picture of some people bent over and then it's a board game on top of their backs. And it's some people sitting around the table. And it says, if you stand up, you change the game.
Like somebody just said, we still waiting on Foxconn jobs. I don't know one nigga hired at Foxconn. Not one.
So let me say, on Foxconn, all the money that went in Foxconn, we still don't have no jobs in Foxconn. I said that was going to be a problem. I also want to be very clear. The money that is being used for Foxconn, Milwaukee is individuals and their taxes is going to be paying most of that. We were guaranteed no jobs for Milwaukee. I talked about transportation. I talked about jobs. I talked about jobs for black and brown people. Foxconn has a record of not hiring people of color and definitely not hiring people in management. So that's a whole, issue. And so in the Love and Faith Initiative, the E is empowerment. But I'm going to be real clear. I want jobs, but I want businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Because businesses make jobs.
Absolutely.
And small businesses make most of the jobs. So in the Love and Faith Initiative, it's literacy, opportunity, voice, and it's empowerment.
Well, that absolutely helps with employment numbers. Because if more of us owned businesses, then it would be more black people, black and brown people employed. But the fact that we don't own
that's true.
business. Well, I'm saying,
and sometimes it ain't, because I just want to say that out loud because I thought that same thing when I sat on this one committee with the Marquette Interchange Project, and I couldn't believe when some of the businesses actually hired people who did not look like them, and they said they did it because they wanted to make sure that they kept their contract. So in the end, yes. It's a greater chance that more people of color will be hired. But the other piece is, will we support it? So there's one black gas station in the state of Wisconsin. 100% black-owned gas station. It ain't never a line. It ain't never a line. It's never a line. If we just let our money circulate one time in the community. If we didn't buy gas from and people say, well, her gas is higher. It's only one.
Yeah.
She ain't got it. She
She
ain't
not with a pool like your
Exactly.
Arab dude in your neighborhood is.
better-
Why you see him working at every gas station that you stop at? Like, hey man, don't you work on 35th too? He all the way on 68th in Silver Spring because his family done pulled in with.
That's it.
with
And then
they
his
family
cousin
with
come.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
She got to pay. I mean, it's all different. But anyway, my point is we need to also support businesses when they happen.
Right. How do you feel about those trolleys, whatever they done put out?
The hop.
Hop. What the hell does that do for the community or the people? Period. I mean, I didn't.
People
see,
on the east side like it a lot.
It looked like it's more traffic to me because you got this big trolley coming through. You know, I can't.
I was behind it one day, and I'm like, for real? Like, there was no way to go around unless you went on the other side of the street, and you had to, like, literally wait for the trolley to go. I mean, the streetcar to go, the hop to go. So this is my position. If I was mayor, I wouldn't have done it like that. If I was going to start it, I would have started it in the central city. I would have started it, by the way, at Century City.
Yeah.
And then moved it out so that businesses would have invested for it to be
Traffic
close to
to
their
their
businesses.
businesses,
Exactly.
exactly.
But, you know, I didn't have that opportunity to make that choice. Now we have a hot mess. It's about $3 million in the hole.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we don't even have fare boxes on them.
You're trying to go. Yeah, it's free. So you're trying. So we're not making any.
No, but they want to be able to collect money from it, but you built the cars without fare boxes. So now how you gonna collect money?
That's my point, though. How are you
like
going?
they do everything.
How are you?
They just come out of nowhere with a price. One day you will walk up and they're gonna be like, $1.50.
Okay, but they can say $1.50. They can say $2. But then you're gonna be like, okay, well, how do I pay you the $2? It ain't no mechanism
For you
on
to
the
either
street
swipe a card or put some change in it. That's my point about Wisconsin. You want to be state of the art, but you still think like a Neanderthal. So then you come up with these kind of. I'm serious. I lived in
Real
Georgia.
talk.
I'm from California originally. Like I know legislature in places that's moving.
Right.
Houston is advanced. Charlotte's advanced. Places that are moving. This place. It be trying to move, but it thinks so backwards, and it want to make sure it cut niggas out of everything that it do, that it bump into itself. Like that car downtown is just asinine. We don't have fashion. There's no fashion district downtown. There's no mall. Why would you
couldn't even
build?
go and buy a suit? If you are a business person that came in town, it is difficult to even
Why
be
would
able
you
to go and buy
build
a
that
suit.
type of transportation? Like Chicago got the L. It's millions of people who traffic on the L in Chicago to go shop. If you're just tourist attraction, forget the people who got to go to work every day and the kids that got to go to school. It's millions of those. I'm talking about just people like me and him. When we go to the Chi, you might not want to drive, so you might have the L to get through Michigan Avenue because you don't want to pay $60 to park your car today. Right. Get what I'm saying? I've done that on trips to Chicago. That's what you build hops for. Subway stations in New York and shit, the MARTA in Atlanta. We don't have that when you go downtown. The mall is desolate. There's nothing in that mall. Why would you build hops and trolleys and shit like that to get around down there? It's not even that many people working downtown. I be downtown a lot because, you know, meetings at the club during the day because I work at the clubs. So I be downtown frequently. It's not traffic downtown. You get what I'm saying? It's one of the lamest, like, downtrodden downtowns I ever seen. It's not busy. You get what I'm saying? What is the purpose of that thing? And then, like she said, it slows down traffic.
Well, you know, some people, I guess they like it because they can get from their downtown apartment to their downtown job.
But is that how many people is that,
exactly.
though? Right.
And so I'm going to go back to
200, 300
in my
people?
Milwaukee.
It's catering to a neighborhood.
In my Milwaukee,
It's catering to the
every
lakefront
neighborhood has a future. In my Milwaukee.
Yeah.
In my Milwaukee, I want every child to have a future in my Milwaukee. And that means that we will have to do something to connect with education and figure out how do we support MPS and how do we help to make sure, again, that we come from our silos and collaboratively work together to make things happen. I don't know fully how I'm going to be able to, you know, fix the issue dealing with the streetcar because it's already negative $3 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
So
I'm not
that's
saying
how I
you're going to
mess.
get right in office with a way to fix it, but I'm just saying that's the only thing you can really do.
Y'all got some Tylenol? I'm going to need it when I get there.
Is figure out a way to make it work now, I
Right.
guess, because they done
Exactly.
made this mess.
Exactly.
And like black folk always do, we always coming through and cleaning up their mess, but that's another
Exactly.
conversation.
Right.
I guess.
So one more thing. I had a question. The curriculum in school, do you think it's outdated?
Yes. I not only think it's outdated, but I want to say, as a mayor, I have no control over what happens in the school.
yeah.
The only thing I do is own the buildings. We own the buildings as the city,
Yeah.
right? So I have to be very candid with you. I intend to be engaged and to help the superintendent in whatever way I can in order to be able to help our schools to be stronger, because nobody is going to move to a city if we don't have strong schools, and no businesses are going to be happy if the people that we're training through school is not preparing them for a job in the future. So our curriculum has to shift to be in line with that.
Right.
And right now, our employers say that people are not prepared. People are not prepared. You know, one of the things I'm gonna say that y'all, you know, and it may not be popular, but it's true. You know, we used to give the largest welfare benefits in the nation.
Absolutely.
In Milwaukee. So it really, Milwaukee used to be a place that people came to because they wanted a better life. And now we're the worst place in the nation to raise a black child, to be a black American. And it's like we said, hey, everybody that want to get a government check, come to Milwaukee. And then they came, and now we're trying to shift that mindset from where things have been. And on top of it, we've been lead poisoning people, okay? And we've been traumatizing them. And we've been doing it through institutionalized racism in housing, in employment, in economics. We are back to where we were in 1924. In 1924, Miss Halyard started Columbia Savings and Loan because black folks couldn't get loans.
20th and Fond du Lac.
That's right.
Okay.
Since then, we had 2 black banks, 3. We had North Milwaukee State Bank, we had Legacy, and then after Legacy, there was Seaway. All gone. Seaway got right up out of here because they like, ain't nothing moving. Yeah. Why? Because home ownership is also down in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
so I do different than Tom Barrett. Yeah. Tom Barrett wants to take foreclosed properties, let them become dilapidated, and then tear them down. Yeah. I want to take those empty buildings, turn them into places, hubs, that can be used so that nonprofits that are homeless can go into those places and help with what the targeted issues are in those neighborhoods. I want people to be able to use their sweat equity and learn how to lay some tile, paint some walls, do some electrical work, learn some plumbing, learn how to fix some lead laterals, and let that sweat equity get them an apartment or get them a place to live or let them become homeowners like Habitat for Humanity works, instead of people being under the bridge and acting like we don't see them, except when we know we trying to get it done before the DNC and move them out.
That's what I was about to say. Who makes those decisions on like evicting homeless people? Like who passes that? The
executive, the people who are the executives.
So county executive,
the
ably.
Well, in this particular situation, the governor did something to say that they're doing some construction work and that space is needed. So I don't know this, so don't quote me, but it seemed like the mayor might have had a conversation with the governor, so he didn't look bad. And said, we're going to need these people moved, but, you know, we can't wait. I don't know, because they on a hill, some of them. So I don't understand how you're going to put some construction equipment on a hill.
Right.
Wow.
Okay, so when you get done, people should be treated humanely. And if we have empty buildings, I think there's another way. We still paying for the buildings because even though it may not be no electricity or heat or whatever on in the buildings, we pay to cut the grass, we board them up, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So imagine if nonprofits were helping to take care of that building, paying maybe some taxes on it or maybe not if they're getting good outcomes. The point is I would be innovative, right? And try to think, how do I take what we have and, you know, stretch it? You know,
like right before we wrap things up and we let you go and all that, I want to
go already.
Almost,
8:30.
almost. I want to hot seat you though, real quick.
Okay.
With them wanting to come through and do gentrification, like we know is on its way, are they gonna want a black face?
So
while they running that campaign?
Yes.
So the truth of the matter is a few
But I'm
things.
saying they're gonna want a black face, but it's got to be they're gonna want it to be a
black
puppet.
face that agrees.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna want a puppet.
What's going on?
So are you prepared?
So let me be clear. I ain't never been a puppet. I ain't never been a puppet, and I'm not gonna start being one now.
Respect.
Number 2, I know that it's not gonna be easy. He has $1 million. I'm certain that you know, they're going to call me everything but a child of God. They're going to talk to y'all about Wells Fargo and, you know, say she called somebody this, that, and another, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Which we don't care.
You know, let me be clear. If I was anybody but Lena Taylor and I asked for your manager's name, I would be able to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be a disorderly conduct ticket.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and when two women tell a grown man what to do and they know, and you know it's wrong, yeah. Okay. So they gonna say a lot of things, and I'm not scared. I didn't get in this race because I thought it was gonna be easy, or, you know, for somebody to, you know, quote unquote, press me out, scare me out. Call me what you want to call me. I'm still going to be the senator. And I'm still going to be in this race. And I'm still running to be the next mayor in the city of Milwaukee. And the people will decide. So, you know.
We are the people.
Yeah, we are the people.
Y'all got the voice.
He can't buy my vote, so
He
we
may
are
have
the
$1
people.
million, but it's a bunch of people.
We are the people. Oh, hold on.
February and April of 2020. And y'all can come to my office, 943-0756 is the number. And the address is 4345 North 60th Street. So y'all know where Jean's Supper Club is?
Yes.
Right on the same block. They on one end, I'm on the other. And by the way, when y'all go to Jean's, would y'all quit putting y'all bottles out in front of my campaign office? Okay? And y'all cups.
Right.
I'm just saying, do I need to put a garbage bag out there? Because I will.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just saying.
Help your people out.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, we open from 9 to 8 every day, Monday through Sunday. We need y'all. Hey, if you want to go out and knock on doors and you a real soldier, come on, I need some warriors to be with me. Yeah. If you don't want to do that and you just want to make some calls, we got some calls
if
to
them
be made.
niggas is in your house and they over 18 in February, we need
make them vote.
Sure do.
They
Sure
need them
do.
votes.
We
We
need them votes.
You hear me though?
I don't care. Come to the polls however you want to.
Yeah,
just
long
come.
time. Yeah,
Make them
just
vote.
come.
Make them vote so they can do their census on it
That's
because they don't know how
that's
many
it.
others it
No,
is.
the census is another thing, y'all.
They don't know how many others
Man,
it is.
the
talked about that
census
on
is a
here,
whole
too.
another thing because we need to be counted.
Yeah.
And you know, they count people in prison. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
They count people in foster care too. Y'all know that, right? And when they count you and they count you in another community, they get the money for you for 10 years.
Ooh.
So you from Milwaukee. And I go to prison in
Dodge.
Green Bay or Dodge or whatever.
Wow.
Dodge get to count me. So that's why y'all should be doing, especially those of y'all that got a case. Y'all should be doing y'all census now. I'm laughing, but I'm serious. You can voluntarily do your census to be counted now. So the money will exist in our community. Everybody should be counted. If they on this side of the land of the living, we need to make sure they're counted. We can also make sure you get registered. We want to make sure that you early vote because you'll never know what's going to be happening on February 18th in Milwaukee.
You
we
can
get
vote.
a whole bunch of stuff.
You
You
can
can
vote.
vote.
No, they were saying if felon, felon, as long as you're not on probation, you can definitely
Probation,
vote.
parole, or extended supervision, even though I do have a bill that I want to become law, but I don't know if it's going to. It's called Unlock the Vote. Matter of fact, I'm going to be meeting with some people for us to think of the strategy. It says that people that are on probation, parole, or extended supervision, if you are not incarcerated, you should be able to vote. Now,
does it
if
affect
you
you?
incarcerated and you only got misdemeanors, you can vote. You just going to need to do a ballot, early vote, absentee ballot, which is just early voting. You're gonna have to do that. Request that so it'll be sent to you.
Von Mays brought up a very good point. He said, make sure we all vote for the same person. They counting on splitting our votes up amongst 13 different candidates. To try
That
to
is
make
true.
Sure
That is true.
You don't win. So
That
we're
is
trying to
true.
say, make
Yeah.
sure we vote for one person.
It's like I think it's like 2 or 3 black people in the race now. Is my understanding.
It's like if she can do it, I can do it.
How? The mayor ballot, you know niggas. The mayor ballot don't have no limit on it, right? Like it can be as many.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna run next week.
But in the end, February will be the primary, and then it'll be a runoff after that between the top 2 people, and then that'll happen in April.
Somebody said we need you to come on here every month until the election for the.
Not a
niggas in the
problem.
back that
Not a
don't hear
problem.
you.
Not a problem. This is my question. Y'all gonna have me back?
Yeah, we definitely gonna
have
have
me
you
back and have me back. I hope that the mayor give me an opportunity to have a
between
debate.
mayors?
But you know, he's never. This time I think I seen him in a debate. It was way back when Marvin Pratt ran. I have to remember. I don't remember if he had a debate with anybody else.
How do you get those? How does those come about? How do you get those to come about? The
Someone
people call for
schedules
those,
it.
or
Somebody schedules it and organizes that and tries to do it. But all the candidates have to agree. But that's all right if he don't come. I'll debate
bull.
a piece of cardboard
Bull, get it.
that look like him. We got some answers that he didn't say it somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, that's gonna be better than pay per view.
Woo.
You can. The people can call for a debate.
Oh yeah, that's dope. Never knew that. You learn something new every day. I'm glad.
I need y'all to know y'all got the power. Y'all the
Yeah,
people.
yeah, definitely the power of the people.
Exactly.
All the power is in the people's hands. I got one question to ask before we get over here because my boy in trouble.
Okay, what's up?
Trump, he in trouble.
Did you say your boy?
I just say that because he is like.
I ain't sitting by him no more.
I just say that because to me he just seems like so untouchable. Like, you know, like the white power is really right there. You never seen it until you seen him. Like, that is really power. Like, I still think he's gonna walk away from this unscathed.
So a couple things.
okay?
Let's go back to when I talked about the Assembly and the Senate and then the gubernatorial seat. So at the federal level, you have the U.S. Senate and you have the Congress. And then you have the presidency, okay? The only way that the president can be touched is by the Congress and the Senate making that decision.
Yeah, together.
His party has the Senate. Democrats
Got the house.
have the House.
Okay.
So do we think they're going to agree?
No.
No, because over here,
They
they
don't see
stand
anything
with
wrong.
him.
They don't see anything wrong.
No, I ain't going to say they don't see anything wrong. See, sometimes
They ain't
people
gonna speak
see
on
it.
it.
But exactly.
They ain't gonna speak on it.
Exactly. And
Turn
so,
the cheek. It's Trump. You turn the cheek.
And so it ain't even about that. It's about they wanted those judgeships to be able to be appointed by Trump. Trump
The
appointed
Supreme Court.
the Supreme
Okay.
Court and the federal. He didn't
makes sense.
put like 300 judges in.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that is
He definitely changing it all the way.
and if we
He's stacking
do
his deck.
not
He's stacking his deck.
And I just want y'all to, oh Lord, I want y'all to understand this. Milwaukee. Trump won Wisconsin by 24,000 votes.
Yep.
50,000 people that came to vote for Obama didn't vote in that election.
Wow.
So again, when people say, oh, well, you know, my vote don't matter. Right now, it's three of us sitting at the table. If I say, well, you know, we finna order pizza. Okay, and I said we're gonna have broccoli man. This is what I say to the kids when I go to school to help them understand. I said we're gonna have broccoli mayonnaise pizza, and y'all like, oh, but if y'all don't vote, and I'm the only one that vote,
You
we
get
gonna
broccoli
get that.
then you
mayonnaise
get
pizza.
broccoli mayonnaise pizza. You can get broccoli mayonnaise presidents,
Yeah.
governors,
Right.
mayors,
Big facts.
all that. So you have to remember that it matters. So now, if it's three of us and you don't vote, but we vote, and you say pepperoni and I say broccoli mayonnaise,
Nah, that's
we still ain't got
still a debate.
exactly
still debate.
because you
Because they
gave
never
more
said it.
power to
We
both
need
of
you.
our votes.
We need you.
So yes, it is so important. It is so important that everybody makes their voice heard. Don't think that your voice don't count. I'm gonna tell y'all, I had a colleague, her name was Kathleen Vinehouse, she was a state senator. I promise y'all, she, like, in my district, it's like 70 something wards, 78 wards or something, like 80 wards.
It's 80 wards
And so
in
80 wards in my Senate district.
Okay.
In Wisconsin.
So no,
ain't
in
just
my
her
Senate
district.
district,
Oh,
just in
just
the
her
fourth
district.
Senate
Just in the
district.
fourth?
My district is from the lakefront to highway, like near Highway 100,
Okay.
like 124th Street, mostly Capitol, always Hampton, all the way to Brown Deer Road.
Okay.
So all that, I got all of Shorewood, half of Glendale, a little sliver of Wauwatosa, and the northwest portion of Milwaukee. So 80 districts. 80 wards.
80 wards.
I promise you, in most of her wards, she won by one vote. By one vote. So you need to know. You think.
Right.
You don't affect.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they said
Every
with-
vote
yeah.
counts.
Every vote counts.
We would like to thank
You
you
for coming
I
through.
thank
coming
y'all for
through and
having me.
blessing us with all
Yes.
your informative
Yes.
information.
You know,
it
you-
was
So what we gonna start doing? Wild Time with Lena Wednesdays. Okay, no, not Wild Time.
Taylor Gang Wednesdays. You know, it's the Taylor Gang.
Or Mayor Lena for Mayor Mondays or whatever.
yeah,
I don't know. We gotta figure
We gonna
something
work it
out.
out. We
Come
gonna
on
work it
back
out.
every month.
Absolutely.
work it out.
Until
All
the
right.
election. Like I said, man, we clown on here. We smoke a lot of weed on here. You know what I mean? But we
Okay,
have
we
to.
can
I don't do
smoking no weed,
anything.
don't
I
get
don't know
together.
what he does.
I don't know what you talking about.
I don't know what he
We have to
does.
take. But we have to take these days.
Don't put
on
me
this,
in
on this
that.
platform where we do stuff like this for our audience.
Right.
Because, like I said, as much as we clown, we want
Right.
to be informative as much. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It
And
affects
I'm gonna tell
our
you,
community.
that is the population that's going to determine what happens in our city. 18 to 35, 40,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be the population that determines what happens. The people who normally ain't paying attention,
yeah.
who normally ain't getting involved.
This is too cool for me to even care about.
Yeah.
I used to be one of them people. That's what I'm saying.
So I so appreciate you because that is the audience. And you know what's different than me and the mayor? I will go to any part of this city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable in any part of this
Absolutely.
city.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
This is my first official
Oh,
interview.
you got
is
the
it?
first
I think
official
so.
interview?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Feel good about that.
Shout out to Jazzy. You hear
Yeah,
me?
shout out
to
Jazzy,
Jazzy.
Yeah.
Jazzy, Jasmine,
Yes.
Jazzavelli,
Gave up her time for me. Thank you, Jazzy. I appreciate
the
you.
Queen. You know what I mean?
Wakanda forever, my sister.
Yes, sir.
Black
We wanna-
girls do rock.
Yes.
We want to
yes.
thank everybody for tuning in, and if you missed the show and you want to check out, past shows, skills.
Y'all know how we do it every episode about this same time. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch up on any past episodes on Smoking Gossip that you may have missed. Also, like the Smoking Gossip group on Facebook. Join the Smoking Gossip group. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And we will see y'all on Friday at 7 p.m.
sir.
We out.
Next time.
Love.